Good morning, friends. It's Fun Friday. Yay. Tell us what you're up to today. And yeah, tell us what you're up to today. So we had mentioned this before, but I'm reading Lisa Turker's Made to Crave. And at one point she talks about crushing her whatever she was tempted to eat, that she was like, nope, I'm trying. She's really praying her way through it. And then she was able to run from that temptation. And she talks about crushing it. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to start using crushing because it's just cool. So I was in Walmart the other day buying something. And if you all, I don't know if all Walmarts have this, but we have a Subway in our Walmart. So as soon as you walk in there, you smell the bread and you smell all the good smells. And I hadn't gone in for that, but it was also 3:30 in the afternoon and I hadn't really eaten since breakfast because I had a couple of meetings back to back. So I was like, ooh, that smells really good. And I could fill it with fresh veggies and all the good things. But for me, I have to have chips with my sub. I don't know what that is. And Lisa talks about things that she connects with each other. And so you lose sight of the thing that you really want because of the other thing that's tied, like football games and hot dogs, which I could care less about a hot dog. I don't go to football games for the hot dog, but I get that because I do go to movies for the popcorn. That's our big joke around here. Not 100%, but I do like my popcorn. But for whatever reason, I always tie subs with chips. And I think we grew up that way. I think that's part of it. And but there's something about that I like. So I was like, kind of like internally, like, do I really want this? Because I'm kind of rationalizing the sub now with a lot of veggies, which is not a bad thing. And it already gone over because Walmart has this bin of like chips, 2 for 98 cents. So if I really want them, sometimes I'll get they're a little tiny bag and I'm like, I'm good. I don't want the big bag of chips in my house. So I was already there and I was like, could I have the hoagie without the chips though? And in my mind, I'm like, nope. It has to be either no hoagie or both. So I thought, well, how will I feel about that? Because that's one of the things she talks about too. Like, how will I feel about that later if I do this thing? And I thought, honestly, I would probably feel okay. I didn't like totally blow my healthy eating plan, but I would feel better if I walked out of that Walmart with nothing. So I did. I paid for my purchase. I walked out of Walmart and I was like, crushed it. It felt so good. And that's her whole point. It's not about food. It's about being able to walk away from things that maybe don't serve us 100%. She never makes it about the food. It's that internal battle. So, but I love the crushing and it felt really good. And I thought, you know what, even if I had done it, it would have been okay. But that internal dialogue of like, well, I feel better leaving the store, or will I feel better taking the sub with me? And there's no wrong answer except how you would feel about it. And I was like, no, I feel better if I knew I just crushed that. Like I crushed that temptation of the chips with the sub. So anyway, I don't know if there's a word that you all like, but the crushing for me, I put it in my phone because I want to remember. I want to crave God and I want to crush the enemy. And the enemy is not food. it's our thoughts about it. It's our heart. It's a lot of things. So like I said, I could have had it, wasn't terrible, and there's no terrible food anyway, but it was more the battle going on. And I celebrated because I remember to have the internal dialogue, because most of the time I just do things and I'm like, oh, why did I think about that? So that intention, we talked about that yesterday, intention of like keeping everything right here and just every time we want something, whatever it is, if we're tempted to not move our body or whatever it is, like when you if you work out for 5 minutes and the day before you did nothing, you crushed it. You crushed it, sister. Way to go. And like take a moment and celebrate that. And
yeah,
you had one more glass of water. It doesn't have to be crazy stuff. It can be anything. You remember to smile when you were feeling like not smiling. You crushed it. Like that's a thing. That's awesome.
yeah.
And take a moment to celebrate it, because then you're more probably likely to do it again, do that good thing.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that you took the time to have the conversation, because that's what made you remember it. Because we talk so much about the fact that we make the good decision and then we forget to celebrate it. Well, you celebrated it because you had the whole conversation. So now you've remembered it. And I like what you said, that it's not about the food, because it's not about the food.
Nope.
And we've talked so much about the fact that there's not good foods and bad foods. It's all the intention that we put behind it. And the fact that you were going to have that hoagie, there was nothing terrible about that hoagie at all.
Nope.
But you had the dialogue, you had the intention, and then you walked out with that feeling of, got it, crushed it. So I love that.
It is. It's all about feeling empowered. And that's what Lisa said. Her journey, yes, she lost the weight because that was a natural byproduct of all the good things she was doing and filling her body with healthy things.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for her was like a spiritual victory and feeling, because Melanie and I've talked about this, like, I'm tired of the roller coaster. Like, I just wanted something that is going to be permanent. And the only thing permanent is right here.
Yeah.
And it's not about the food, and we can't make it about the food because we're not going to win. We're not going to win the battle. But if we make it about our mindset, and we make it about intention, and we make it about celebration, and we make it about crushing it, that's going to make us permanently victorious over whatever it is in our life that's causing us to go off the path. So yeah. Anyway, if you have a favorite word, share it. My new word is crush, because there's something in me that goes, yes. And for you, it might be something completely different, and that's fine.
Yep.
But find your word, and then celebrate whatever, and do a body mode, because there is research to that. Like when you do something physical with something verbal, it gives it more energy. So, but tell us what works, because we want to know.
Absolutely.
And have a fun Friday.
Yeah, and go and crush something.
Go crush something. Not someone, people.
No.
Something.
All right. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.